Today is the final day of the auction, and right now it has one bid. It's got one bid on it, and so it's sitting at $5. There's been, I think, 48 or so watchers on it, or excuse me, views on it, and I think it has 4 watchers right now. I'm going to slide over to that here in just a few minutes. I think it ends in about 30 minutes from now, and we'll see where it concludes. I'm glad to see that it's had, you know, challenge. You are a challenge, sir. So anyway, I'm glad to see that it has had 40 plus views. I'm glad to see that it has 4 watchers on it currently. I'm curious to see as we get closer down to those final minutes, kind of where things wind up. But I'll let you guys know. Real quick, I just thought I'd run through some things that I do as a small seller. I personally don't like to spend a whole lot of extra money when it comes to things for the photography end of doing my listings. And by this I mean like lights, things for display, shelves, you know, whatever. So I just thought I'd show you guys a couple things that I've done to help me without having to go and necessarily even buy it online. So one thing I think a lot of us wind up having are things like this. And I mean, these, you can use these for a lot of things, but I took one and cut it into little sections, and then I painted it. And it really, I mean, I could have just left it the, you know, kind of light brown color, and I sell vintage and antique, so it's not like that wouldn't kind of mesh with everything, but I painted it just so that they kind of hold up longer, they don't get as much wear, but I just took and painted. And then the great thing is, and I'll try to put up a picture of a couple times I've used these. Like once was with some Christmas ornaments, the, you know, the balls so they roll everywhere, and I just couldn't, I had 4 of them and I couldn't get them to stay still, and so I needed something that would appropriately hold them but not look real obvious in the photo. Even bottles, when I'm trying to get the bottom of something, these are a lot softer to lay like the head of a figurine in, so you can have the bottom end of it, the base of it, sitting up. So I can have the head inlay in here, and then the base, you know, I leave these ones stacked, so now it's sitting, you know, upward, and it's a lot easier to get that photo, especially a very still, clear photo. I prefer to try to keep my pieces like this as camouflaged. Try to keep them camouflaged in the photo so that your item stands out. This isn't what's drawing in people's attention, because people do get confused, and whatever's in the photo is generally you know, what's included with the item. So I don't fault people for confusion on that. So and there's a lot of instances where the display stands or whatever are included. Another thing I did was, I have a lot of marbles and things like that that I'm gonna start working on getting listed soon, and I'll probably do a small video and show you guys some of those, and maybe you can fill me in on what some of those are or not. I'm not a marble expert. I think they're beautiful, but I'm not a marble expert. But I've made one of these little deals here, and he is just, I think, what do they call it? Air dry clay. I think I just like got at Walmart or something, and so I just took and rolled it into a ball, and then took my finger and made a little indentation there, so that now I have, you know, it may not be the most beautiful piece, but it's better than the marble rolling all over on its own. So I just let it dry, and then I painted it again so that the marble will stand out against this. Other things I would say, thrift stores. You're probably in them anyway, So keep your eyes out for things like these. Get on your carpet. Sit. Sit. These are plate stands, not treats. Okay, so anyways, I have noticed thrift stores have, for some reason, been increasing prices on these. I'm not sure really why, but at least at my thrift stores. But I always take a look and try to find, you know, whether it's wire ones or plastic ones. I prefer plastic or wood, but I try to look for them there. If you go to buy these in the store, you're looking minimum $5. Here's a real nice, like, heavy, I don't know if it's brass, but it's definitely a much heavy metal. It's very heavy metal. It's got a sticker on it that says made in China. So, you know, but sometimes I have heavier pieces that need something a little heavier. But I just pick them up in all sizes. I pick them up in all colors. There's a gold one. I get the wood ones. So these, I think I got at a dollar store or something. And they're just like little sort of like custard bowls, maybe. But it's got a flat base on this side. So when I'm doing things like with glasses, for instance, excuse me, and I have more than, you know, 2 or 3, so you need to kind of organize them to do the photo. And so the ones in the back, I'll bring it over here for you, the ones in the back I'll set up on top of this and then still be able to display the ones below. But that way you can more clearly see the quantity of glasses and still fit it in that like 1x1 picture size you have to do for, at least on eBay. But I use things like this, and I like this because it's clear, it's heavy enough, it's not going to fold, it's not going to collapse on anything, and generally this is enough space to kind of hold most cups up well without them sliding all over. I have thought about adding a tiny ring of hot glue on here or something and letting it dry just to give it a little more like anti-slip coverage, but I picked these up too. These are usually still pretty cheap at any thrift store, and that's where I recommend you get them. And if you sell any dolls or have the anticipation of selling dolls, I mean, these aren't bad things. I'm sure you can use them to hold up other things too, that you may find the need for, but pick them up at the dollar store. Don't go, or at the thrift store, excuse me. Don't go spending a lot of money on them. Another thing, now this, I don't know what it cost, but I think my husband got it free or cheap. But things like this, this is a happy light. Wow. It's extremely bright. But this has worked out great when I have like carnival glass and I'm trying to show the base color. So I'll set the piece on top of here and then blind myself getting a photo. But just to be able to really show the light coming through it. And then things like these for jewelry and stuff. You know, I caved. I had to go get something that you could display earrings and stuff on decently. So I did, however, go to Michael's or one of those stores, and they had them on sale. So I think I got this piece, the earring piece, and then this big bar piece for, I don't know, 20, 30 bucks, somewhere around there total. Now, I've only sold one purse bag thing on eBay so far. I have more to list. Of course I do. This has worked well for holding up, you know, a purse or bag or whatever to display. So I just had 2 cheap pieces of wood. I stained them, screwed them together, and slapped a hook on the top. Works out well. Looks decent in a photo. There's lots of ways you can save money and still improve the quality of your photos, and being able to display your items in them. I like my photos to have authenticity to them. We live in the world of AI now, and personally for me, I have a hard time trusting is what I'm seeing in the photo actually what I'm buying. I don't want people to have to question that with my listings, or at least I try so that they don't. So I try to make my photos look as clean, professional, and nice as possible, but still make it obvious that they're not touched up with AI or photo editors, or, you know, because when it comes to things like chips and cracks and crazing and all those things that go on. I do my darndest to disclose every bit of it and photograph it if I can, and or at least in the best way possible to really show it. I don't want anything hidden. I don't want anything a surprise when somebody gets it. So I want all that to be shown in the listing, and I don't want my photos to appear as though I'm trying to cover anything up. I also don't want to spend a lot of money. I've gone and looked on, Amazon and stuff like that for things, something similar to this idea. And, everything out there is expensive, and maybe not each individual piece is super expensive, but it all adds up. And so I just thought I'd share some of those with you guys. So let's go over and check in on the auction, see how it's going. All right, y'all. So we are down to the last 3 minutes of the auction, and there's been 48 views. There's been 1 bid. It says 2 bids on here, but I only see for the $5, so I don't know where the 2 bids are. And it says 1 bidder, so I don't know. But there's 4 watchers on it. I have a feeling that's probably where we'll land on this, and that's totally fine. I started at $5, expecting to get no less than $5 for it. And at least it's going to go to somebody who hopefully is going to be able to use it. All right, so there we go. It did sell in its first round of auction listing, which is better than my previous experience where I had to go through 3 rounds before I even got 1 bidder. It did sell to the 1 bidder again on this for the $5 asking price. So the question, can somebody without a following run a successful auction on eBay or probably anywhere? I don't feel like it's concluded exactly on this. I think it's probably possible. I think it has a lot to do with what you're listing. So my best advice when listing on eBay, whether auction or buy it now, don't list it for anything less than what you're willing to take. Bottom line. Once it sells, it sells. So you can always bring your price down. You can't bring it up. One thing that I may try on the next one is going ahead and trying a promoted listing. I saw when I was making the listing for this one that I could promote it for like $1.49, and $1.49 is not bad. But when the starting bid is $5, you're already gonna have eBay fees somewhere around 13 or more %, and then you're gonna have another $1.49 on top of that. So essentially, you just gave it away for free because the profit will more or less entirely go to eBay. And then the shipping costs, which I don't partake in at all. I don't charge for shipping supplies and stuff like that. I feel like that's my cost of, to do business. So, and I try to keep the overall cost for buyers as little as I can. So, I thrift and scrounge and come up with stuff. I order bubble wrap through American Bubble Boy, I believe. And the price on there isn't too bad. You get quite a bit for what you're buying. I feel like, they offer a pretty fair value. But again, it's all my cost to do business. If I would have promoted this listing, that extra $1.49 would have, left me with absolute zero profit. But I suppose the idea there is to hope that if you do promote it, that your listing will be seen easier, promoted, hopefully, so that people will bid on it. More people will. And then that $1.49 is not a big deal. So I've got things like matchbooks, stir sticks, marbles, toys, some of the ones we went over in the previous video that I am going to try putting in lots also, because I don't necessarily think that they will sell very well through buy it now, and or I don't necessarily want to spend the time selling them individually. I'd rather put them in a lot and just let them go. And so things like the matchbooks, I don't know a lot about that, but whether it's another matchbook collector or reseller or whatever that would buy it, they're gonna know. what those are, and more, so what the values of them are, and more power to them. So if there's something in there that they see that's worth it, they'll pay for it. We'll see. So I'll do another video on that here soon, and we'll kind of go through some of it and get your guys' opinions on it, and we'll go from there. But for now, I think the mystery is still out there a little bit. I think that it definitely helps to have a following, though. Maybe someday my auctions will skyrocket. We'll see. Anyway, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Are you going to be a good boy? Are you going to be quiet? You don't know. Thank you.